Gooner Kyle.
Gooner fam, what's good? We're back. We got our Durban resident Kyle in the house. Decided to join us to catch up, chat about Arsenal. A lot that we haven't spoken about, and also chat about the Southampton, some transfers, and then build up to United, the big one on the weekend. Yo, Kyle, what's happening? Long time. How's it going? Hope you're well, man.
Yeah, what's up, Keish? Long time, man. Yes, it just feels like, obviously, with everything going on, we just haven't had enough time to catch up. But, man, there's just a lot going on now with Arsenal, a lot of goods, a lot of, I feel, maybe slight negatives, but I'm sure, yeah, we'll get into it today, that's for sure.
Yeah, so look, I haven't spoken to you in a while. As you said, we went through a bit of a rough patch, and January was our shining light. Maybe 2021 is going to be a better year. So, what did you make of us getting through that, and then the turnaround going into Chelsea, and then obviously the win 2 days ago against Southampton? What did you make of the comeback from the team and what they're doing?
Yeah, before I even start, I don't know if every fan shares the same sentiment as me, but I feel I didn't expect us to actually turn anything around prior to the Chelsea game. I think every fan, hopefully, I don't know if they felt the same way, but I felt that I don't know where we were going to get our next win. I don't know where we were going to get our next goal from. We were in a rut when we just signed this Aubameyang now to his new contract, and whatever reason couldn't get him firing. I mean, you could look at the stats. I think Aubameyang was getting like one shot a game or something ridiculous. I don't know what he was averaging over that time period, but we couldn't generate shooting opportunities for our new striker that we signed this big contract. So there were a lot of problems, and as much credit that we've given Arteta for solidifying our defense, it was our attack that we just couldn't find that balance just before that game. It was like really unexpected for me. So yeah, that's one thing I think we have to just, before we even start going into anything, that's something I just have to say. But yeah, in saying that, I also feel a lot of that time period underlined a lot of Arteta's mistakes, and he's like, well, I don't know how to put this, but he's essentially qualifications for the gods for the job, and it exposed him a bit, because I mean, if you look at some of the decisions that he had leading up to those games, I mean, the consistent playing of Willian, potentially, and then we I mean, every fan has their opinion, should Aubameyang play to the middle, give him more chances and stuff like that. But I mean, as we saw through that period, changing it up, putting Aubameyang to the middle means less hold-up play from Lacazette and stuff like that. So what I'm happy to see now, it seems like we almost finding a little bit of a balance. But I think one thing that we also need to see as well too, I think with the emergence of Emil Smith Rowe, we find that was closely linked to our successes of late. When he plays, for whatever reason, he has outstanding record. Every single game he's played, we haven't lost essentially. The only time we haven't won was a game against Crystal Palace in 0-0. So I mean, that's a very positive record to have, especially for him, especially for someone that, I mean, if we had spoken about him previously, we wouldn't think him as a pivotal member of the squad. But right now, he's one of the names that kind of, it's already down the team sheet, him, and obviously we have to speak about Bukayo Saka, because even before that, honestly speaking, he was always, whether we were playing whatever, the team was playing rubbish, we always saw some fight from him, we always saw something special from him, whether we get the results or not. So yeah, I think those two have really been like very key to our turnaround of the squad. I don't know if they bring energy, whatever it is, and also I feel like with the emergence as well, there was a very nice link up as well when Saka was playing on the left hand side with the Kieran Tierney, and I think a lot of things just began to click. But again, like I spoke about it earlier, where I said the qualifications of our manager. We just have to bear in mind that the decisions that he made with the Chelsea lineup, a lot of them were out of his hands. If we look back to it, there was injuries, there was players that were missing out, suspensions and things like that. So it just so happened that like all the stars aligned, that the only players that he could play at that point in time was everyone that we were kind of bursting out. Let's not get Willian to play. And like Willian had a suspension, or I can't remember, or he was injured. I think it was the COVID thing around that.
His family was sick or something like that. He was unwell after Christmas.
It was a COVID. I think he was in contact because I know Gabriel as well was also in
Yeah.
contact. So it was like with COVID and everything.
Even David Luiz, I think they all spent it together, those Brazilians.
Exactly, and I mean with that emergence, for whatever reason, I mean we saw Pablo Mari. I think it was 2 weeks or I can't remember the time periods now, but prior to him having that game against Chelsea, he had played a full match in the Europa League, so he's obviously able to get through a 90. But for whatever reason, he was just not getting game time in the league, and for us, we were calling that we needed change, and then with David Luiz missing out in that time, with Gabriel Magalhaes as well. He also had COVID, and with Willian and him, it just so happened that he was probably I probably looked at the bench like he's the only one that could probably play at this point, and he put him in. He put in Emil Smith-Rowe, he put in Bukayo Saka, and like he put in Tierney, like a team that we've been begging for. He kind of played, and it was just such a turnaround, something so positive. And I think just from there, he just grew from strength to strength. The confidence started coming through to Emil because, again, he just finds himself like as a youngster, you see gaps, you always want the ball. I feel like Willian and like Pepe sometimes they tend to hide. You'll just stand there and like not give options to the players on the ball. Whereas you'll see Emil, he's always moving, he's always swinging his head, trying to pivot, trying to look in spaces, trying to receive the ball and trying to make things happen. So for me, that was just such a breath of fresh air, and that breath of fresh air just propelled us right now. Just looking at the team, they're playing with a lot of confidence in the league. And again, I mean, you look back to the FA Cup games, I don't know why he's still giving players that I think don't deserve a chance. He's still giving them game time and trying to persist. So it's a learning curve. And it was interesting, his interview that he made, I think it was, I'm trying to remember if it was after Southampton or before the Southampton game, the preview for the actual match itself. So this was after the Southampton FA Cup game, the preview for the match. I think one of the questions someone asked him was about players, and for whatever reason, Arteta, obviously he's feeling the pressure from the fans or from social media and from the media themselves, where he just decided to answer the question about why he made all 7 changes, and he didn't, because people were saying he disrespected the FA Cup by making 7 changes. He disrespected Southampton, thinking he can make 7 changes from his first team and still get a result. So again, he went out and he answered that question straight away. He was like, no, look, I've done this because apparently 5 of these players were unavailable. So he essentially made 2 changes and all the other players were unavailable, according to him. That's what he said in his press conference. So I think he was just trying to, you could tell because the fact that no one actually asked the question, that he's definitely feeling the pressure. Was definitely something that was in the back of his mind, because it wasn't even something that he was asked. He just referred to it, like, just to make it clear. So I thought that was very telling as well. So again, I think the pressure is slightly getting to him as well, the fact that he's answering things like that. And I think the fans all had the expectation that, look, we've lost this game, he's made 7 changes, he has to go out and get a result now. We're not going to settle for anything else but a win there, because remember, we've rested our players. That was the mindset that we had as fans. We've rested 7 players in order to get a result on that game. Southampton played their first team. We should be easily outplaying them, especially when it comes to the end of the game, because all of our players should be fresher. And yeah, we went out, we did the business. I don't think it was without any struggles, but yeah, we went out and we did exactly what we needed to. So yeah, like when we're speaking about the revival and stuff like that, I think we got a lot of confidence as fans right now, the way the team's clicking, or should I say the first team's clicking when it comes to reserves. I think it's a little bit of it. I mean, if you look at the players and the names of them, Willian and them are all experienced players. But if you had to ask me what confidence I have playing a Willian and playing a Saka, it's chalk and cheese, honestly.
Yeah.
You'd always want to get Saka on the ball as opposed to getting Willian on the ball. It's just, again, we're speaking about an experienced Premier League proven player. He's played at Chelsea, he was a player of the season, and yet that's the guy that we're saying, no, this guy, this 19-year-old kid, should be getting ahead of him, and that says all you need to know right there.
Yeah. And you alluded to a few points, was Willian persistently starting, and we've been calling for it, and it was something that we've been crying for from even when the season started, or towards our bad patch started coming in, was creativity. Less crosses, more direct play. And look, Emil Smith-Rowe is not like, not to discredit him, he's not like that pure number 10 that picks a pass, but he doesn't need to when he moves the way he did, as you say. And him and Saka, it's like they just speak a different language on the pitch. And it's like Lacazette understands it too, because instead of like playing through balls all the time, they just move the ball faster, like a triangle style of football. It's as effective, and I think that it's nice to see that. And all it was a faster play, more movement, giving options, allowing. Look, I think to be fair, Arteta didn't give Saka freedom, and I think now he's allowed to have the freedom to play up front. And because I think that first goal at Chelsea was just the start. He has been phenomenal for the past 2 seasons, but that first weird goal that he scored, that he doesn't know, everyone's like, did you cross? So it sparked something, and the chemistry between him, Lacazette, and Emil Smith Rowe, it's unseen before. It's like kind of like the old way that we used to play with like the Ozil, Ramses, and Giroud's up front. Where you just move that ball a lot quicker. But it's simple. It does it just come down to the simple thing that we have options now and we're moving the ball faster. Was it because it's Willian, getting benched? Because Willian did play a pivotal role, I feel, in our decline. Because if you looked at the Southampton game, he was poor, man. He was poor. Like like I thought Pepe was bad, but Pepe wasn't bad. Willian was getting the ball in such good areas. His decision making was just so poor. But let's just talk a little bit about what do you think? What's going on there? Do you think it's under pressure? Do you think new team, maybe not Chelsea, it's Arsenal, maybe there's more tactics behind what he has to done, or is he just so out of form right now? Because you can see right now when he gets the ball, he's scared to try and do anything. He'll just play a safe pass. So do you think how do you feel? Like, what's your makeup on Willian? I know, like, it's disappointing, and now we have Emil Smith Rowe, and we're fortunate, and obviously we'll speak about the transfers that came in. But at the end of the day, we big Gooners, and he's an Arsenal player, and we want to see him excel. Because, look, he's a good squad player. I think if he does excel, he'll help us in a squad, like, towards the back end of 40 games, the last 15, you can count on Willian to do something. And right now, he's not getting that for us. And yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on him,
Well, to first start off, again, we are Gooners, right? We want to see everyone succeed 100%. But I think one thing that we have to note is, and this is just my own personal observation, I feel a lot of fans will have a lot shorter fuse of them because of these Chelsea links. Same thing with David Luiz. Like, you bring these guys in, yes, they're Premier League proven, but the moment they don't perform, it's like, oh, we're buying offcuts and all these other things because the guys come from other clubs. I think if he was someone new that reporting from another league, I don't think he would get that first, that impression, essentially. That's just my own personal opinion. So that's the first thing I just want to say. I think as well, something that we also have to note, Arteta, when he first brought in Willian, he alluded to the fact that he can play in numerous amounts of positions, and that was one of the key things. We knew that I think he knew at the beginning of the season that Ozil was not going to be there. He's already mentioning that he could play it as a 10. That's what he alluded to at the beginning of the season. So we already knew, okay, cool. And a lot of the guys were actually hyped to be like, yeah, maybe that could work. We play Willian as a 10, but we've played him left, right, center. We've played him everywhere across the park, and he just has not done the business. That's the honest truth. The way it's looking right now, as a signing, I think he's our third or fourth highest paid player, and over 30, it's not looking like a great signing because he's here for 3 years. As we just sorted out the Ozil situation, we look like we're in a similar situation with a different player now, high wages. There's no chance that we're going to get him off the books. And again, it's like I listened to Arteta's press conferences, like Willian doesn't play well, and it makes me a bit nervous because some of the things that he says, he's like, no, we're definitely going to keep persisting with him, keep trying to getting back into form, and that's not things that you want to hear. I guess it's nice for the player because he's like, oh yes, the manager still backs me, but as fans we're worried because it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. But one thing that I also just want to note, and this is something that I think I mean, you spoke about Pepe not popular was also bad. Personally, I think when Pepe started that game, I could see he was revved up. I felt from our right-hand side, we could not work the ball into Pepe at all. It was not coming down that side. It was going down the left-hand side. It ended up with Willian's feet. And the other thing we have to think about, Pepe did create chances, but you got to understand the chances are falling to a Willian, they're falling to a Nketiah. You got to ask yourself, Pepe in a team with the Lacazette and Aubameyang, again, those are assists. I mean, if you look at the Nketiah chance where Nketiah just snatched at it, we look at Aubameyang or someone that's a little bit more composed in the situation scores. We're not talking about Pepe, we're talking about the Pepe that gets the assist. So I think one aspect that maybe we're not considering is like when they do play that squad, there might just be too many changes at a point in time. Like if we're trying to get Willian back in form, maybe it's something that we do where we play the full squad, Emile Smith-Rowe, Lacazette, all of them, and Willian. I'm not saying that's something that I personally want, but I'm saying it's maybe something to look at because, again, as a player, I mean, let's be real. The only way we can get an assist right now, the way it looks like to a fan right now, for me, the only way Nketiah is getting a goal right now is a tap in far post. So I don't see Willian beating a man and crossing it far post. Unfortunately, that's the honest truth. And again, like I think that's the thing as well. And I mean, I listen to some of the fans speaking about transfers now, you know, who should we be getting? We should be looking for, like, let's take the number 10 debate that people had during this window. They're like, oh, we need a 10. People are saying, let's get this Buendia from Norwich. Why should we get Buendia? They want 40, 50 million for him as a championship player. And then people are, the argument for them is like, no, he's Premier League proven. And just with that argument, I just say, Premier League proven does not automatically mean he's coming into your side. And you've seen Willian. Willian was Premier League proven. We can't deny that. He's played there for a number of years. He lives in London. He didn't have to move far. I don't think his kids changed schools. I don't think he changed houses. He literally probably changed the training ground he goes to and different kids, different teammates. So just that small change that he had to make, again, I'm saying small, but it's probably a big change in his life. That change that he had to make in his life has been hectic. It hasn't been an easy transition. So I don't know what it is, if it's a mental thing right now. But again, maybe it's just building up his confidence. But the other issue that we have right now, I look at us even going out and signing this new keeper, Matty Ryan. I'm looking at the games that we have and I'm saying, are we going to play a Matt Ryan or Willian now in a Benfica game? It's a Europa League. It's the only trophy realistically now that we can go for. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, you know, for him, I'm trying to see opportunities where we could kind of slot him in or to try get it to work. And right now, I can't see anything. So again, for me, I just think it's going to be an uphill battle. And I think, you know, if Willian's showing it in training, maybe he deserves his chance and that can be it. And maybe one of those games we throw him in. But right now, I honestly think the best players should play. And for me, I think Martinelli, I think players like Aubameyang, when he comes back, Saka, Pepe right now is above him, is playing better than him. So, I mean, they deserve the chance ahead of him. That's just my opinion of it.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't help the fact that we win when he's not playing. You know, we play a lot better. So, and I like the fact that you made with Pepe, because there were two Pepes, the FA Cup version that was playing next to Willian, and then 2 days ago version that was pretty much similar, but there was more quality around him, and you could see it. Well, he was really good on the FA Cup, but I would criticize him because you only criticize him because what was around him. And when I looked at that game again, and you look over it again, and you look at Willian's final thinking and stuff, you look, it's just a bit disappointing, you know. As angry as you can be, it's just disappointing because good squad player, he has quality. It's just that if you could bring that to our team, you know, we need it. And it's sad that, well, it's not sad. I'm happy that it's Emile Smith-Rowe. We'll always back that kid. It's just that it becomes hard when a 20-year-old kid is running your midfield, you know. And are we Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka injury away from going back to December? You know, those are kind of the things that gets a bit scary. But you know what? You did speak about Martinelli, and I think that guy also with Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe. But I think he doesn't have to play well to influence the game, Martinelli. His energy, his passion, you know. And I just feel that it's sad that he's not. Obviously, we want him to get the run, but they have to like baby him in the style because he's just too much of a beast when you release him, you know, like to play, he'll play 100% or 200% and tend to get injured. So hopefully they manage him back. But let's go into like Southampton's match just a little bit. It was a tough game, you know, playing at the Saints. they opened their account early, very early, well, we had a few chances and then we got back into it. Two brilliant goals. But like, yeah, just give me your thoughts on like, going down, how we held our head together, and then to come back and see the game out 3-1, which is quite a good result away, especially on the road. And obviously, from last year or last season, our away record hasn't been that great. So are we looking a bit better on the road? How are you feeling about that?
Well, I mean, just for starters, I mean, our home record this year has been atrocious. Let's be real, I think I won one game.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's like one game we won at home. The rest have been draws, and the others have just been losses. So again, our home form has just been atrocious. It doesn't fill you with confidence. Like again, teams aren't scared to come to our ground. What does that tell you? So again, I think on the road we have a lot more freedom. I don't know why. We have seemed to got more results on the road. So again, we have better chance of getting a result than at home. So that's the first thing. But personally, I didn't have any confidence going into the game, especially after the performance literally a few days before. It didn't fill you with confidence, especially with the fact that our back four was almost identical except for the Gabriel swap for Louise. Because remember, we assumed Tierney might be back. We weren't sure, but it was essentially the exact same back four. So again, we saw what under pressure, Rob Holding had a lot of balls. He kicked them a lot of balls away. And I don't know if you saw this as well, but I kept saying it to the other guys when we were chatting about the game. If you watch Southampton's plan when we high pressed them, and our plan, there was a plan that I could see that they were trying to work with, get us to come out high, push Granit Xhaka and Partey up, and Shea Adams and Danny Ings would target men. And as I don't know if their defenders are better than ours. I mean, man for man, I wouldn't think so. But again, if you look at what they were doing, kicking it long, Shea Adams and them were holding up the ball, and Walcott and them were just running off and playing into pockets. When it comes to us, it doesn't seem like it's anything of that sort. Kicking the balls long into Pepe, kicking balls long on the other side into players in danger. But why aren't we trying to look for Lacazette in a pocket or something of that sort? It just seems like there's no plan, and that's what I'm trying to say. There's no plan for us to work it out of any out of position. And the 1-2 times when we actually moved the ball a lot quicker, we got it out. But the other times when we didn't, you saw what happened. We got caught. We put ourselves under danger. And I think we were also lucky because, I mean, there's just lucky the fact that the chances fell to Theo Walcott that we used to. And I think like some of the chances, well, Danny Ings as well, maybe it's a little bit of fatigue in the legs. He also didn't take chances as well. But I mean, Shea Adams, and he also had a chance where he's just quick. He's got good hold up play. He's bringing everybody into the game. So I think a different Walcott that was getting better crosses in and stuff like that, we would be talking about a completely different game. But again, we weren't. I mean, once we went down as well, the most frustrating thing was to another set piece. We look at the mismanagement, and I mean, the guy's getting a straight run into our box. No one's picking him up. It's a set piece. We know James Ward-Prowse has quality of this. How do we leave a guy in the middle of our box having a free volley at a ball, and no one's even there to hit a ball or anything? So if I look at that, hopefully Arteta's looking at it as well and saying that is actually ridiculous for a Premier League team to kind of concede those type of goals. And it was just after the chance where I think Lacazette kind of didn't take his opportunity, clean through, great ball by Granit Xhaka. But yeah, did not take his chance. So we weren't sure what was going to happen. Grateful for a nice little ball as well from Granit again to Nicolas Pepe.
Yeah.
And great finish as well. And actually, if we look at that finish, there was three men, and it was Lacazette, I think Emil, and it was Saka that were all on the other side. So if he missed that goal, I think we'd have all been a little bit frustrated with Pepe. It could have gone either way from there, because if he misses that, everyone looks up and like, hey, yes, three men, why did he not pass it? You know what I mean? So I'm glad he took his chance. Again, that's what we need from Pepe, goals at big times as well. I think that was a big goal as well, you know?
Yeah, and then obviously Saka and Lacazette doing the job. I think they both, their combination, the Laka-Saka, with that one touch, and then Saka's finished the way he turned the keeper. And then obviously again, Saka, Cedric, and you did say that, you were saying that we were crossing a lot. And once we exclude, because Bellerin was a bit poor in the final third, releasing the ball. Once we left the wing backs out and our midfield started playing like Xhaka, Partey was a bit touch and go, but he settled into the game. He had a few silly touches, I would say, but it happens, you know. But once we started going into the midfield, getting faster, we looked like we were going to score. Whereas you said where those crosses were coming in and we're trying to switch the ball, especially in the FA Cup match, that was just we didn't look like we were going to score, you know, not at all. And then is that like, but that is that kind of summing up the difference between December and Jan, you know, because December, you know what I mean, and our rough patch was crosses, wing backs, you know what I mean, not really going through the middle, not allowing our midfield to get the ball released into our front three. You know what I mean? It's always going wide and then back in and wide again. You know, so do you think, obviously we need that in our arsenal, but do you think that's been the difference maker? I know you did touch on Emil Smith Rowe, but if you look at yesterday's goals, like none of them, okay, apart from Cedric's switch ball, none of them were necessarily created by the wing backs. And one of the criticisms was Tyranny in the Palace game was we need Tyranny to win matches. But is that like all skewed? Look, people are looking at it very skewedly just to think that yes, we need Tyranny to win matches, of course, but it's because he shows this attribute that maybe we don't see as much, but we can do it if we just stick to, let's be fair, the old way of playing, you know, moving it better in the center. And you think now that is testament to Saka, Emil Smith Rowe party, you know, even Lacazette's hold up play. So yeah, how are you feeling about the way we're scoring goals at the moment? Because I'm sure in that dry patch, you're just like, hey, where's the next goal coming from? You don't even know who's going to even score the goal, you know?
Yeah, but if you're looking at that, I mean, what I see is a big difference in and how we generated goals. For me, the number one key as well, we press the ball high, we want it higher up the park, less work for our backs to do our backside to work it into attacking opportunities. That was the first thing. And I mean, if you look at the goal that Lacazette should have scored was all done from pressure. If we look at the one from Pepe, we're putting pressure on the keeper, kicking long, winning the ball in midfield. That way you don't have to worry about building up and getting people in positions. So that's the difference that I saw. When we're playing these teams, we're not putting pressure on their defenders, and either they're kicking it long, their outlets. I mean, we look at Crystal Palace, their outlets was Christian Benteke. We knew that. We knew that's what they'd want to do. But again, we let the man receive. He's turning and he's feeding in Zaha on the other side. They play with those two very close together. They play on a counter attack. We know this. They put two banks of four, you know, and they're like, come break us down. We got to out on the other side. So if you guys don't defend well, we're going to knock it long to Zaha and take it to hold it up and to feed Zaha on the other side. That was their tactic. And I think, look, when you're playing teams like this, the key thing is to move the ball quickly. I feel, and especially what tends to happen is although we're dominating possession, we can like walk away at Palace at 70% possession or whatever it was, but our possession was in our own half and our defenders had the ball. We're not threatening. We're not in a position to score. So 70% possession there, I think Crystal Palace just walked away and cheers. You can keep the ball, we'll take a point. And that's the problem that you got to worry about, because the fact that our possession stats are higher, but we're not working it at all into our midfield. It's the players that can be creative. But in saying that, I just feel like if we watch us move the ball around, and it happened in Southampton as well, they high pressed us, but we were moving the ball so slowly, we never managed. One or two times we did, we just moved the ball quicker, and when Partey came in, we saw that difference. The other difference that I saw, so one is moving the ball quicker, and the second thing that I also want to note is someone in midfield. And you saw it from Partey in the game against Southampton. Yes, he lost the ball, but we need someone in midfield to take the ball and drive with it, break their lines. That's something we don't have. And the problem that we had in the Crystal Palace game, I think it was Elneny and Chuck Andrews, back to the Mohamed Elneny that we know from Wenger's day, where we used to call him Mohamed El Sideways, because all he did was take the ball, pass it sideways. But if I look at the Elneny that played against United with Partey next to him, I thought he was ridiculously.
Yeah.
I thought that's the Elneny that I would love to see, because the Elneny that gets the ball, breaking lines, driving with the ball, breaking the press lines, and switching the play. Just by doing that, you really take a number of their players out of position, and we were working the ball into good positions. But again, that's the biggest problem that we don't have. Midfielders taking charge of the game. And again, Granit Xhaka, sometimes, I don't know if it's criticism or it's confidence, but they don't seem to take the game in the scruff of the hands, try to drive it and break. He's not that fast player, but with Partey next to him, he can be that guy that does it. So I can't criticize him for when he tries to break the lines and dribble. Yes, he might get tackled 1 or 2 times, but it's positive for me. Yes, you don't obviously lose a ball in that situation. Maybe you try with a foul or whatever. But again, for me, when I see that it's something different, something that we haven't had, so I can't be upset about that. So I mean, the things that we spoke about, what the difference has been, I'd say high pressing, move the ball quickly, and someone in midfield to break those lines and to get to switch play as soon as possible. And that's exactly what Partey did. We look at the goals that Partey, I mean, that other ball that Partey gave to Aubameyang. Yes, it was such a peach of a ball. And again, it's all because what did he do? Took the ball under pressure, broke the lines, and switched play immediately. And that's exactly what we need. So if the goals that we've been scoring, it's just simply because you move the ball quicker. Defenders can't mark you. They can't like stand up and put banks of 4 in front of you if you're moving the ball, because they continuously have to be moved out of position. And if you move the ball quick enough, they can never get back into a position to block you from getting the ball into there. Another thing as well that I noticed against Southampton is they're a team that likes to push up high and push numbers. And how we were actually beating them with that is first-time balls in behind, because they're really going to be pushing their numbers out high. And you saw that the goal from Saka, you saw even put the balls to Lacazette with the goals to Pepe, they're pushing out high quickly. So we're trying to fizz balls in behind first time, and it almost came off a few times. So I think it looks like there is some thought behind it. I just hope we go into United knowing exactly what they're going to do to us. But yeah, maybe we'll make that the next point.
Yeah. Well, on to the next point. As it's January now, coming off a good Jan, it's a good Jan. We kind of saved our season, I would say. Still a lot of work to go to, and big games coming up. I think when we were chatting before, the next 10 games are really going to determine who we are this season. So, but yeah, I can't say we had a lot of transfers. There's been a lot of news, transfer news. So yeah, well, Kolasinac out on loan, Saliba out on loan, Socrates' contract ended. But the big one, I think this is when, I don't know if we chatted back then, but yeah, Ozil, man. I don't know if we chatted, I was thinking, I don't know if we chatted when we signed him, but I remember every Arsenal, our biggest signing of ever, money, quality ever. And yeah, Ozil departs, and yeah, maybe just touch on the transfers, that the guys that have left the club, and also Odegaard, our little Viking dude that's come into the club. Okay, everyone will say we knew we were going to get someone. I was pretty surprised that they did business right now, but it's the way we needed a 10. I think we needed an attacking player, so it was good to see. But yeah, what did you make of this current transfer window? We've got 2 or 3 days left. So yeah.
Yeah. So again, our transfer window, for now, I'm happy with it. I think the only other thing that we can do potentially is getting left back cover. I see we in talks with the Bertrands, but yeah, let's run through it. I mean, firstly, Kolasinac, high wage player. He was someone that just wasn't doing the business. He wasn't getting games. Why are we paying him? This is why we're keeping him around. Let's get rid of him. Ozil as well was that type of play. We know the history. We've probably talked to death. And again, a high-paid player not getting games. We need to kind of come with a resolution. And again, if we look at the Odegaard, the Viking, our midfield Viking, should I say? If we look at him, the rumors coming from Arteta is that he didn't like the fact that Ozil wasn't versatile enough to play on the right side and in the center. If you look at Smith Rowe can play on the wings. He can play in the middle as well, because he just has that work rate. Odegaard fits that down to the T. He's played on the right-hand side for Real Sociedad, and he plays through the middle as well. Left footer, and he's one of those guys that likes to work hard as well. So again, for me personally, if we look at what we're looking for, a creative solution in midfield, it solves that problem for us, I believe. And as well, let's just say he doesn't work out after 6 months. It's not something that we tied to kind of sign him down to long term, where we could sign someone who could not be. Obviously, I think our target would have been OR, but I don't think it would have been available in this window. So obviously we went to fix that. Now let's just say Odegaard knuckles down. He plays the part. I can really hear the chats that it sounds like he's unhappy at Madrid. I mean, Madrid they sent him onto loan to Real Sociedad for 2 years. They cancelled after 1 year because they're like, and imagine that they cancel a loan because you're like, okay, cool, obviously I'm gonna come back and do the business. I think he's played 5 times, or it was like 5 minutes since I can't remember when it was, but I think he's made 5 appearances.
I think he even asked them to go back out on loan or get released or something like that. I think he just wanted more football.
Yeah, but he wants to play. I mean, the kid's young. He needs to get out and play football. He's been in Madrid for 7 years. He signed him when he's 50. He's 22 years of age. He needs to be playing. So again, we can look at our internally and reflect our own situation. We've got William Saliba, a young lad, he needs to develop. I'm just happy for him. He's going out, and I've been following Nisa's results closely. It looks like he's doing the business. He's doing exactly what we need him to do. I don't know if he was lacking confidence or whatever it is. I don't know why we weren't even giving him a chance. Hey, Arteta might come out at some stage, but I'm glad to see him doing well. Any Arsenal player, like I say, I want them to do well for the club, no matter where they are. If they get loaned out, I want them to do well, so they can come back and do well for the club. I just want to see the club thrive, you know. So I'm happy for him. I hope he comes back. He stays injury free, because I think as well that's one thing Arteta said. He obviously had injuries through his last campaign with St. Etienne. With COVID, the league got cancelled early, so he didn't get as much game time as he should have. But anyway, I'm happy he's doing well, and I hope he comes back and does the business. But yeah, for us where we are, I mean, the surprise signing for me, Matty Ryan, we needed a cover keeper. He's a Premier League proven. He's been there for Brighton. 6 months left on his deal. We got him in, and potentially he could be like the perfect backup to a Bernd Leno. Premier League experience, someone that's done it. And also, I mean, he's got World Cup experience as well. He played with Australia as well at the World Cup. So, again, a very experienced player for me. I think he's got everything that he needs to kind of just be a proper backup to Bernd and competition for him. Because I think, like, if something happened to Bernd, we wouldn't be so secure with Renison in there. And yeah, so like I say, I think we when I looked at this window, no one would have said that we could have got over 500k of wages off of us with the Socrates termination as well. I see a lot that Mustafi's also not in a lot of squads lately. Arteta had said previously in the window that Mustafi's not going anywhere, but the fact that he's not even in the squads, I mean, I don't know what that means right now, but it doesn't look positive that he might not be at the end of the window. I mean, if you get rid of those type of players, we've been asking for a long time, let's ship out the deadwood. Imagine in one window, we would have shipped out all these players that we would have wanted out. So I've got no complaints. Socrates as well, what I got to say, he's also been very professional in this whole thing. He hasn't come out once on social media about it, and he left the club very amicably. Likewise, with Ozil, put on a nice message as well. Again, I was also like you when I saw him. I was so happy that we got a player of such caliber. But again, the fact that if you speak to fan, there's difference of opinions with regards to how he performed for the club. So for me, I could never put in that he was a legend for the club. I'd always respect him. I thought he was an absolute baller, but I don't think we got the best out of him while he was at the club. I think we had flashes of it. I think that's what frustrates a lot of fans. The people that aren't really Ozil fans, but the people that really are will always remember the good times, and they remember the times when Ozil really turned up for us. And there were games where he did turn up for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just sad, it's like he's gone now. It's like a piece of the regime that's gone, Ozil, Bellerin's the last guy. But you know what, as you said, you are right, we've been calling for these guys to leave. And now that we shouldn't get sentimental now that it's gone, because we want to see our club achieve. And all those points are 100%. I think we want all those players, we wanted them. I don't even think there's any left that I could think. But overall, from the last window to this window, it's a pretty good window this year, or this season, with what we bought.
100%.
Who we got rid of, Guendouzi going out, Torreira going out, actually getting guys to go out, getting the squad moving. But you can touch on that, like what did you make of the two windows? And then also, you said you did allude to a left back, and then I know we don't have a right centre back, like a right-footed centre back, except for Mustafi and Holden. I don't think there's anywhere else where we need to strengthen. But in those two areas, who would you like to see? And yeah, obviously you can talk about the impact these two windows have, because it wasn't a buying window. It was kind of a transformation, like we're trying to change into the Arteta Arsenal way, kind of, or whatever. Edu, Vinay, I don't know, whoever, So yeah, what's your feeling on those?
So firstly, I mean, again, I'll speak more about just this current window. I mean, if you look at it, and even the previous window, it wasn't really a window where people went out and made huge like purchases. There was no, I mean, what was the biggest purchase of the other window? I think Partey was one of them as well.
I
I'm
think it
trying to
was
think
just
of any other big ones.
Chelsea that made crazy. I think Werner was the biggest that I can think of. I think so.
No, but no, it wasn't Werner. It was Kai Havertz. Because
Yeah.
remember, Werner was signed in previous January. The deal was already agreed. But if we look at Kai Havertz, he was the major one that was major in that window. But a lot of other clubs loaning because of COVID and everything. Not too sure how it's working out. All loan deals. I know people call us loan sharks, but I mean, if we look at our club, I think all of the business that we've made has strengthened us, and it's loaning. If they work out, let's sign him onto longer deals. So I kind of like that. It's protecting the club a bit. And again, if you look at the market, even this window, what's the biggest money that you've seen go for any player? I haven't seen any money kind of being exchanged. There's been other players that I saw. I think Aston Villa signed the guy Sanson, but I think again a lot of these players, how they work in deals, it's I'll loan you this person for this, you pay me at like a late stage, because they all know clubs don't have money right now. COVID has really impacted. There's no fans in seats right now. Arsenal's biggest revenue. So again, we took out that loan with the banks as well, and that's just kind of sustaining us. So we don't have cash right now, but we're taking out that loan with the aim to pay it back once we finish in a certain position and potentially get Champions League qualification, however it is. And when that money comes through, then we can kind of balance all the books once again. So again, I think for me, like you speak about the Odegaard deal as well, it protects the club. We get someone that potentially could do it. If he doesn't do it, okay, cheers, he goes back. And I mean, it's what, 2.2 million that we essentially laying out for him to come with a loan fee and his wages for the time period is, yeah. I mean, to kind of fill a gap that potentially could do a job for us, potentially get us in top four, 2.2 million, you might laugh at the end of the season. Again, we might also be like, it's been the biggest waste. But again, we've wasted on other players like William, for me personally. So again, I don't see this as being a waste for the club going forward. But like I said, I definitely don't see these windows as high spending. So I think all the business that we're doing right now is very astute. So very well done from Edu, I have to say. You spoke about the positions. I think for me, I said Ryan Bertrand. I watched him play in the FA Cup game. I just think I've always watched him. I think he's just very consistent. He's the type of guy. He's kind of like Cedric. You know exactly what you get from me. He doesn't really have like horrible games that I've watched of him. Very consistent, experienced England international as well. I don't think he's played for England for a while, but again, what I'm saying is bringing that experience. So if something happens to Tierney, and as well too, Tierney's a young boy. Speaking to someone that's been there, been in England for a while, English international as well player, you can kind of give Tierney that advice that he kind of needs to kind of like get him to get that experience as well. But yeah, I think we're pretty much set with regards to positions after we get a left back in. I mean, I think from a centre back perspective, I think you forgot about David Luiz there. So I think we're pretty much set in terms of like right-footed centre backs for me personally. So there's not much other signings that I'll potentially look for besides the Tierney, just because of cover. And honestly, if it came at the expense of potentially sending out Ainsley Maitland-Niles to Wolves or whatever, I think we should take the money. And the last thing I was going to say is, I mean, if we look at our window, you said, is this like to get us in the Arteta regime? I personally think that this window was setting us up for the summer to go and attack it, because if I look at all the signs, we've taken, like I said, 500,000 a week off of our wage bill for 6 months potentially. I don't know what the agreement was also how much we sacrificed to pay in advance to kind of, you know, negotiate with the players. But I'm saying we've taken off that amount of money per week till June or July, whenever the window actually opens. So I'm trying to say is, we kind of put ourselves in a position now where our wage bill has decreased, and we've been saying it for years. We're operating on a Champions League wage bill with Europa League players. So I mean, you look at our players right now. Let's be real. Are we playing like a Champions League side? You have to say, if this side had to play in the Champions League right now, how would we do to a Bayern Munich? How would we perform against the Juventus? I think we all know the honest opinion of it. As much as we think that the guys are playing well, we know that, I mean, suckers and they're not playing well. We know, come on. If we had to come up against Ronaldo at the back with Holding, come on, he's going to have a field day in there for them. So again, I think as much as we want to be ready and into the Champions League, I think we need to also put our squad in a position to go out and actually attack it, not just be there to make up numbers like we did under Wenger. So what I like about Edu, he spoke about, we have a short-term, long-term, all these stuff figured out. And so far what I've been seeing at the initial beginning of the window, I was a bit hesitant, but it shows like he has a plan. And again, I think this whole window was about dropping our wage bill. It is going to go up, but I don't think it'll go up to what it was. But it's about opening up that space in the team as well. Squad numbers as well, I think, was a big problem for us. If we look at our squad numbers, that's why all had to miss out essentially, because we couldn't essentially work him in the squad. So, and I think as well, what we don't also realize as fans, imagine you as a player that every single week you're training and you're not playing. You're one of the highest paid players in the club. There's a little bit of unrest that goes in the dressing room as well. And I think this window was about resolving all of that, trying to get enough numbers to kind of go and attack the competition that we still left in, but as well as setting us up for the summer window where we've kind of got rid of every single person that we consider as Deadwood, bar William. It's just level, who knows, William maybe goes and performs the next 6 months, but in 6 months' time, we can go and attack that summer window with whatever positions we need, and we can do that now because we save all this money as well, and potentially earn money from if we finish in the league and potentially Champions League qualification as well. So it's setting us up for the future for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because William, man, like no fan is like, yeah, it's bad. And even myself, I think he's taken Xhaka's crown there, for the most hated player at Arsenal.
But you said that, Kish, like again, something that I spoke about earlier. It's like because he is a Chelsea player. Like, let's think about this. I'm just thinking about the FA Cup game. Yeah, Gabriel Magalhaes. I mean, he looked very leggy. He didn't look up for it. He obviously wasn't match fit, and we understand that he hasn't been playing much minutes. His OG or his touch essentially led to our own goal, which kind of lost us the game in the end. But again, I think fans are a lot more willing to kind of not give him such backlash because he's not. If he was a Chelsea player or a player from Spurs, I think we would have been a lot on him. Like, why is he doing this? But again, we have to also
don't like Chelsea. You know what I mean? That's probably just don't like them. And
but I mean, like,
it's that affinity you have. It's like you remember William comes with not a lot of Arsenal fans. Let's be fair, knew Gabriel. Unless you watch the French league or you follow the French league, you don't really know a lot of these players, So, and especially, I feel from England, they're very stuck in their league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they won't know these guys. I think, Willie, you are right, and I think it's the same issue with Pepe, the price tag, the experience. It's like Zlatan at AC. He's expected to make them number one because he's a phenomenal striker, you know what I mean? But the thing is, I think you were one of them. You said it was an okay signing, but you also said we don't know what we're getting. Like, you don't know if you're gonna get this turned up William or this old man William. So it's one of those chances. I think we took it because it was a good deal. It was just good money. Like, it's like the Odegaard deal and letting Ozil go. It's what we need at this time. I think some of our decisions become like that, like the loan, like taking William for free. For them, it's like we have to go pay, like, let's say Odegaard, or Awa was 20, 30, 40 million. But we can get somebody, well, in their head, bear with me, was Premier League experience, trophy winner, World Cup winner, or not World Cup winner, World Cup player, whatever. You have all of these attributes that he brings. But it's the same. I think it's just, it just became to a point where now, as I said, he's taken over Xhaka's crown, and you know how much crap Xhaka's done. So it's
he still gets it now.
Yeah, it's a sad point, eh? And I think maybe we need to be a bit more lenient with him, because the thing is, okay, I personally was. But like, only until Southampton FA Cup now, I'm not anti-William, I'm just like, man, like the cause, you're not helping the cause here. Like, I'm trying to defend you because I know your capability. I've seen it here and there, but I don't know. It's just, as you said, maybe coming with the Chelsea name, doing business with them, the way our business has been over the years. It's not like we always got peaches from them, Like, I don't even know if we have, to be fair. I think check.
But it's saying that, Kish, I mean, let's look at this, right? I think every single fan will happily smash a humble pie in their face if William goes out and performs and proves us all wrong.
Yeah.
We 100%. All we ever want is for our club to succeed.
Even the Fulham game, like, we came out there, we're like, Chelsea lost, like, you know what I mean? Like, you see, where was this William at Chelsea? They were like, just wait, you'll see. And that's
Yeah,
what,
I think it was just as soon. And one thing we got to remember as well, too, William signed to a 3-year deal. The reason why he took our deal as opposed to Chelsea, I think we're only offering him a 1-year or 2-year or something like that. That we both had the wages. Chelsea wanted to keep him, so that's something to remember. It's not like they were throwing him away.
yeah.
He's away. He's
Look,
past his prime. They wanted to keep him.
let's be fair, he's not performing. That's it. He's not terrible. He's not pop. He's not,
Confidence.
same as Aubameyang. We all backed him. He was, look, Aubameyang, before he scored those 2 goals against, who was it, Newcastle? Was it Newcastle? Or
Yes.
West Brom? Or one of them, wherever he scored, that first half, oh my God, he was shocking. Like, he was just trying too much. But lucky I love Aubameyang, and I could see that he was just trying. But I was like, look, if it comes down, this guy must be the first sub because he's at positions where he wants to shoot, he should be passing and but sloppy. But he proved me wrong, and I don't mind it, I really don't. And that's what we're hoping from William, just to find his feet again. And it's just disappointing, man. Like as a player as well, as a professional player, you move to a new club, you want to get off to a great start, and I think it's just disappointing. And now, our fans, we heartless sometimes, like always must be swearing that those mother, children, everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Ramadan
but Kish,
style.
you got to look at it like this as well, right? I think what you have to understand is as fans, I think if we look at Aubameyang has got a lot more in the bank. From an Arsenal fan perspective, he's won us single-handedly the FA Cups with these goals, honestly, without him. And again, it's funny, like I look at it, I remember us saying this last season, people said Arsenal would be relegation candidates without Aubameyang's goals. Do you remember Aubameyang wasn't scoring? Where were we? So it was a bit funny when we realized that literally without Aubameyang's goals, we literally were in a relegation battle. So that's an interesting thing to actually think about. But again, for me, he's got a lot more in the bank, and that's why we're willing to give him more chances and give him time to kind of find that confidence again. Whereas, like I said, with Willian, Chelsea player, such a waste on high wages. He's 30. No, we need to get rid of him. He's a bad signing, whatever. So again, Aubameyang has earned that. Same thing with Gabriel, even with the OG. If that was David Luiz scoring the own goal, what would we have said?
Yeah.
David Luiz, Chelsea player.
It's actually quite crazy, our psychology as Arsenal fans, the way we
100%.
automatically just crucify these dudes because actually that red card Gabriel got, the 2 yellows, was silly. That was, if it was David Luiz, I would have been great. But because it was Gabriel, it was like, it's all right. We know you're young, what. But I also think it follows, it is Chelsea, but it follows respect. We know Luiz. Like for years, we've known PSG, Chelsea, Brazil, what. And I think like, we see with you, you're also a seasoned fan. You got that thinking as well. A centre back can't think like that, a mature centre back. But at the end of the day, it's David Luiz. And I think these 2 boys are just brought in for experience to assist the young guys, Mari, Gabriel, Martinelli, Nketiah, all of these young guys to groom up to get to a certain level. It's just that the weeds up and down. William, he just needs to come right. I don't know. Look, I'm not gonna. He can go, he can stay, but when he plays, he just needs to do something, And if because if he's gonna play in the 4, like our top 4, being our 3 attacking and our 10, and not do anything, because that we saw against Southampton in the FA Cup. If he doesn't do anything, we don't score. You know what I mean? Because he gets a lot of the ball. The good thing about he gets in good spaces, man. He gets in good spaces. He's always free to this, unless nobody's marking him because they know he's up. But you know what I mean? He does get in good. Just his last ball, his last cross. I remember one shot. The guy just had to just hit it nicely. Just maybe even trap it.
Kish,
hit it.
I think I saw some ridiculous stat. I don't think it even hit the target in the shot. So again, that's the problem. I mean, how are you going to ever score if you can't even test the keeper? So again, that's something to be mindful of. Again, for me, it's a confidence thing, like I said. And like you said, with regards to Gabriel, you might say he wasn't known before he came, but why I think we give him leeway with regards to the red card was what happened prior. The man won literally back-to-back player of the month for us. So again, we're willing to say, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Gabriel,
I
we give you.
as much as we hate on these dudes, is as much as we show love. Like Gabriel, it's just William, just give us something. I think that's what we're asking for. Like, give us just something to say, you know what? Yeah, we were right. You know, right now, you see, I think the other issue was Arteta's, as you mentioned it before, Arteta's persistency, or like to play him all the time when he's not performing. And I think in previous interviews long ago, you alluded to a favoritism aspect. And it
Yeah.
it kind of shone in this December time that look, he's playing this dude week in, week out. And the guys interviewed like William stealing Pepe's game time. They were like, Pepe should be playing. If Pepe played every game that William played, maybe Pepe would be scoring 4 or 5 goals now by now, you know, giving because he's the type of confidence player. He needs minutes to keep going. So it's like it's those things. And I think like Arteta got, you know, in that time he got crucified because of that. And then his hand got forced. And now he's like, I just need to keep winning. You know, there's no two ways about it here. I just need to keep winning. And unfortunately, Williams not in the formula. I think I also felt that towards when we were doing that, I felt Williams was more of a sub player. Like, don't start him. If you want to play him, just sub him on. Let's see what he does. Does he make a better impact there as a sub? Maybe his legs are better. So we'll just see. But yeah, so now, hey, it's been a long one, but last chat here, or last topic. So going into after a good win, you know, disappointing we got knocked out of FA Cup, but we're still in Premier League, slowly up to the table. And Sunday is our big one against our rivals, man. Well, I like to say they're our biggest rivals, but yeah, it's an important one. High flying United. Well, after last night, not so high flying. So yeah, well, what do you think we need? Could we pull a double over them? Would be a first double in a while, man. I'm sure over 14, 15 years, we haven't pulled a double over these guys. So, yeah, how are you feeling about the game and what do you expect from the team?
Well, again, whenever I play United, since we've played, I think for the last 2 years, we have not lost to United. So again, for me, and another thing to think is, as long as Ole's played Arsenal, he hasn't got a W against us. And I was actually, every single time we play United, they come with the highest form ever, and for whatever reason, we stop them in their tracks. I mean, if I look at the time, remember that when they knocked out PSG, they did a comeback. They played us, and we beat them. That's Ole, when Ole's at the wheel, Ole's at the wheel. Yeah, that was the first time we played them.
Yes.
And it was under Emery. But what I'm trying to say is, it was still them coming at their peak, and us, we weren't sure. We were like, okay, we're probably going to get beaten, whatever. The next time we play them as well, if we think about it, I'm trying to remember.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was New Year's, and I'm trying to remember. I think that was our previous game this year when we played them as well. They were off a high. They just beat Leipzig. I mean, they beat all these top teams, PSG, Leipzig, and all that. And
your video,
for whatever reason, oh, sorry, man. Yeah. So for whatever reason, they all of a sudden were like, because we stopped them in their tracks now with this latest game. And that's the only thing that I want to note. Like, just the fact that we have played them with them coming in red hot form and we stopped them in their tracks. It seems that somehow the team always finds a way to beat them. But in saying that, I think something that we have to be realistic about, United are the best traveling team in the Premier League. Make no mistakes about it. They play a counter-attacking game. They got fast players. They got Bruno Fernandes that will find those players. Pogba's playing well now, that will find a way to score goals. Something we have to also remember is we are probably, I think out of the top teams, we have the worst home record. So this game for me, I think
United's up there as well. I think us and United have the worst home record
from all the top teams. But just for me, I'm just thinking back of all the recent games we've had at home have not been the greatest. The team just ends up flat. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's empty stands or whatever else it is. So for me, this is a big game. I think as well, I think a game could be won or lost based on who's fit. Again, Partey didn't kind of limped off. It doesn't look like Tierney's fit as well. Potentially he's not going to be playing, so it could be the exact same back four that we played now. And again, if we're missing Tierney in that midfield, what we're looking at Granit Xhaka and Mohamed El-Neni. Again, we don't know which El-Neni we're going to get. Will we get the one that drives the ball or the one that just passes the ball sideways and draws pressure onto us? The other thing that we have to consider as well, too, Aubameyang is going to be out. we're going to have to play Pepe. Pepe normally does well. I mean, Pepe was the one that got goals against United last year, and we spoke about the New Year's Day game. So this could be the game to kind of like put him into the next gear as well. So it's not the worst thing, but I think definitely missing Aubameyang, someone that's a confidence for everyone else around him, because if chance falls to him, pretty much it goes in. Whereas if something like that falls to Pepe, we're not really sure what we're going to get, and that's my only thing. So for me, again, I think it's a 50-50 game. They're not coming in the greatest form. We're going into it with good form, but again, they got better away records. We got a worse home record. I think it's a 50-50 tie for me. It's going to be based on who shows up on the day. I'm not confident going into the game. I definitely, again, I could see them beating us. I can see us beating them on the day. I just don't know which Arsenal's going to turn up. Will it be the 0-0 Crystal Palace, or will it be the 1-0 that got the away victory at Old Trafford? I just don't know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's going to be a good game, I feel. I think we found some. When we won before, we didn't really score. I think now we can score, and I hope we do. But yeah, like on Sunday, I suppose. And sorry, my battery's about to die here. But Kyle, thanks so much. It was a great chat, catching up on everything. It's been a while, so yeah, I think we're good now. It's the frustrations and the excitement out. Yeah, but we'll catch you on the next match day. Hopefully, we'll catch you for United. And yeah, all the best with everything. I don't know if you have any last words. You want to say bye to
No, man. No, man. I personally, like I said, I wish him well. Like I thank him for all the time he spent. I've seen him do absolutely amazing things on the park. I also see him doing some terrible stuff. Again, he's like one of those players. He lost credit for me after a certain time period. But I wish him well. I don't know what's the real reasons behind it. I wish him well. But yeah, I'm just revving up for this game because my brother's a United fan. Especially if we don't get the W.
Half of our town where we're from is United. It's like 3 Arsenal people that are there. But enjoy.
So you make sure your phone is charged.
Yeah, I left there, so it's 2 now. But we'll talk. Take it easy. All the best. Keep safe. And yeah, it's me, Kish, it's Kyle, it's Gooner Kyle. We out.